Hello everybody, Ryan here from Guitar Teacher Tools. Today I'm going to do kind of an in-depth slash create a backing track from scratch using Band in the Box. So normally when I do these in-depths I just kind of talk about it a little bit, but I needed to make a song backing track for one of the songs coming up in my class, so I thought might as well kind of do a little bit of both. So we have Band in the Box here. It's been around forever. I had it few years ago when I had to buy a big terabyte hard drive to plug everything into. It was very expensive. When I changed schools, I obviously had to leave that at the school because they used their funds to purchase it with. And I tried some freebies, haven't liked it. So a year or two ago, tried a couple freebie apps and they were okay for what they did, but they just weren't as robust. So a couple years ago, I did research to see what I could do to get Band in the Box back. And luckily, because of the internet innovations since the last time I bought it, I was able to just pay $99 for the basic, and then I've bought a few backing track or extra packs additional. So I think that's actually a better way to run this, just because then again I didn't have to. I paid like $1,000 the first time, and yeah, I had a whole bunch of stuff, but it also had a whole bunch of stuff that I was not using. So anyways, I think it's a much better system now. But I need to basically do a 12-bar blues in A minor, so I thought I'd just tag along and record my process with this. Now I am definitely not a Band in the Box pro. I know it does 1,000 things and it can be very intimidating seeing all this stuff at once. So hopefully I can just kind of show you what the basics are, kind of what I use. I have done a lot of just searches on Google for how to do whatnot, and so forth like that. But I need just basically 12-bar blues in A minor. We're going to do a little song called Jimmy Shuffle from our book. So I'm going to just start with that. So I just need a basic 12-bar blues. And as I go through this, I need 4 measures of A minor. And then I need the D minor for 2. Then our A minor, that's if I need to split the measure, A minor. And I'm just point and click, and I could just type directly in, which is nice. And then we need our D minor. Okay. And then, I don't know why I ever had trouble doing this when I do it on paper, laying out a 12-bar blues. I've done this 1,000 times, but every time I lay it out on paper, I always get confused. There's our E7, D minor, and then we'll just do 2 measures of A minor. Okay, so it comes preset with all of 36 measures, so I don't need all of that. So it can get a little confusing with repeats and stuff. So obviously here's my 12 measures, I'm done. So I can go up here and I just want to do 12 measures with that. Obviously you can see, oops, scrolls too fast. So this, I've got it set to do a 4 measure ending. So if I don't want that, I can go in the settings and change this. And I don't know, maybe somebody can help me. I don't know. It always does this too. Obviously, I don't want to end on a D minor, so I have to change that to A minor if I want that. But what I do want to do is I want to do a repeat here because it is going to go through twice, and then we can add the 4 measure little outro from there. So what we do, and I always forget, because like I said, this thing does 1,000 things. I believe it's bar settings. Is that where it was? So key signatures. I mean, you can put in the key signatures. You can do, like I said, this thing can be very overwhelming. We didn't change anything. Where was the repeat? Is that under? I could have swore it was under this. It's not chord builder, chord options, song form. Repeats, there it is. Okay, so song form repeats. Okay, so I just need a repeat beginning at bar 12. And then, okay, make the repeat. Okay, and then for some reason it does some weird things here. So I don't know, maybe it thinks, well, this is not going very well. We're gonna do a bunch of undos. We're back to there. The D minor shows me that I'm back to that part. Maybe this is good to show how sometimes this can be a little frustrating here. Like I said, at this point, I could have just typed in everything. Let's go back to what I had. I just repeat begins at bar 12, number of 12, and repeat twice. Okay. So, oh, I see what it's doing. Okay. I don't know why I want it. See, I think the wording is weird. I think what it is, because I want it to technically repeat, but I think it thinks I'm starting at 12. That's why it's adding extra ones. So we want to repeat. I guess repeat begins at bar 1. I think that's what it means repeat back to, but because I've selected measure 12. There we go. Okay, there we go. But I do want to end on an A minor. I don't know why that does. So there. Okay, so now at this point, I kind of just preview. In my head, I'm just kind of thinking what the song is. For shuffle, it's a little fast. I already know that. And I'm just kind of checking now. So at this point, I'm more or less just kind of, and I might go back. I think I'm just going to stick with that one. But obviously, I could go and just because let's do a couple of others here, just so. See, let's try. Yeah, sure. Let's do a blues shuffle with tambourine. It's more laid back. My kids do like the ones that are a little bit more rock sounding. So I don't know if this is a Mac thing or just my computer, but I've lost the ability to scroll sometimes. So sometimes I have to. There we go. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Stevie Ray straight. I'm sure that's what that means. Rock shuffle, boogie shuffle. Those are pretty fast. Now, as I get down the line, you can see these yellow instruments here. This tells me what it is. That means they're MIDI instruments. They're definitely not as good. And that's, I think, what this is here is this R means real instruments. So I want to try and get ones with green because those are going to sound a little bit better. So the farther down I go, the less chance I have of something like that. Yeah, let's just try this. Let's do a little preview. Yeah, a little too slow, a little bit too laid back. Blues groove. So I just might preview a few here. Again, I already kind of know I want the Texas blues one. Again, we get farther down here, we're losing a few of our choices with real instruments. So let's just go back. We'll go ahead and do this. And again, it skipped there. All right, so I know it's a little fast, so I can come up here and I can just bump that down. We're gonna do it. Let's try 110. Again, we're doing a Jimmy shuffle. Now again, here's where I can mix it. I'll get into that in just a minute, but I want to just make sure I've got the right speed and everything first. Now again, the recommended speed, it will do a good job turning it down, but the recommended speed, you want to stay as close to that as possible because it does get a little bit muddied if you really slow it down. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to test a little bit with actually playing. Now, sometimes I do a horrible job at this because a lot of times I'll play it really good and I'm like, oh, that sounds great. That's a good speed. And then I get to school and it's too fast because I'm going to render it for the audio, put it on my iPad and Bluetooth it to the speakers at school. Obviously, but at that point, I can't change the audio. So I have also learned that it's good to have, I usually will save 3 different speeds because some kids like to go a little slower. Some kids like to shuffle and go faster. So I do have that opportunity. So I try to figure out the first speed, and just if I like the overall tune. Let's see what we got. And I am way out of tune. I did not expect that. So let's stop this. So I need to tune up real quick. So I can already tell, in my mind, it seemed just right, but now as I play it, I can tell it's way too fast. We do have some triplets in this, so I'm going to go down to 100. Let's try that again. Again, I have to really try and judge what am I going to be doing with kids that have just learned the song versus me that have been playing this song every year for kids for a long time. Okay. All right, so I think 100's going to be the good bass. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good start point. Okay. All right. That'll be good. All right, so now I might just go in and add a few tweaks that I know I can do. So if I right click on this, one thing I can do here is, let's see, where's it? I want to add a drum fill. Okay, is that what this was? Gosh, and I think like I've always mastered this, and then at this point, I get to this point and, I have to do it at the beginning. I have to do it at the beginning of the measures. I have to get this blue, then right click. There it is, drum fill wanted for this bar. And it's pretty intuitive. It knows if I'm doing a repeat, more likely it's going to do that. But I can kind of change it. So I'm on 1A. You can see that's what this is over here. So if I wanted to, I could change it to this. It would make that just indicate that we want a little bit of a change there. I actually don't want that. Okay, so it does have a drum fill. So again, it's pretty intuitive, it knows, but I can change. So if I went to the beginning and click this 1A, I could adjust a little bit what I want. And I can go in, and from what I understand, I could go in and really customize a lot of this. Overall, the sound, again, I can mix this, I can mute, turn off some of these. So it's got 2 guitars. Let's just see. Sometimes I don't like having both guitars going because it's kind of overkill. So let's just see what we've got here with the 2 different ones. So let's mute this one. So just some kind of comping. So again, both of them together are not necessarily the best, to be honest. Now I'm just kind of seeing. There's the drum fill. I am going to turn up the drums a little bit because I always get confused. Okay. It's above the name. Okay. Yeah. Because if we're doing this in class, I really want to make sure the drums are pretty prominent. Turn the bass up just a little bit because it's got that nice walking. Our ending, 4-measure ending, and it's done. And then the app will automatically play it over again if I'm going with that. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so before I was just kind of playing from memory just to kind of get things going, and I have a terrible memory. So I'm going to grab the book here. Now, before I kind of finish it, because just every once in a while something will be weird and I put a chord in the wrong spot. So we're going to just play along with the entire song now just to make sure everything lines up before I render the tune and finish. So now I know that everything lines up, the song works. And again, now that I've played it all the way through, I can kind of tell that will probably be the upper end version. So that's okay. So I can do a save as, or when I render it, I can render it at 1 speed, and then I can obviously bump the speed down, re-render it, And then if I do a final save, which I have not done yet, so we want to do Jimmy. I think at one point I must have done when I did the undo. And it will do a final save as the Band in the Box file so that I could reopen it later if something goes wrong. But obviously once I do the audio renders, then those are stuck and I take those to school on my iPad and save it to iCloud, which I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, so that's pretty well done. That's gonna be my medium, my normal speed. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bump it down I usually do 10 at a time. So let's start with 90. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go under Wave, and I do export. You could just save the song, even though it says for iPhone, iPad, I'm gonna do an export instead of a save song. So I'm gonna export the song. It gives me a few more options when I open this up, mostly just where I save it. I don't like saving it here. So we're gonna go Jimmy's Shuffle. And then what I like to do is just so I know in the future, when I put it in the playlist, I know exactly what speed it is. And just for convenience, I'm gonna put it on the desktop, which will put it in my iCloud, which is important for me to get it to all my devices. Okay, so I hit save, and then it's gonna just render it because it's a pretty short song. It doesn't take too long from here. Okay, so obviously it's rendered. It should be right on my desktop as an audio file. Here it is here. Okay, so now what I do is I want to make that available. I've got playlists here, so it's going to go to my intermediate kids playlist. So I've already done this. You can see I've got examples. Oops. Okay. Now, because it's on here, I want it available on my iCloud. So this took me a little bit, and maybe you already know how to do this on your own. Okay. But before I play it in iTunes here, what I want to do is I want to save it on my iCloud drive. I have backing tracks already there. So here's all of them that I use for all my classes. So I found what I need to do is I need to add it to the iCloud drive. And I actually need to play it from the drive. It's kind of weird to make it show up in the iCloud version, because what I want it to do is I want it to show up to recently added. You can see what I've been playing this month. Okay, so if I play it now from this drive once, it's kind of strange, but I have to actually click on it. It should open up in music. There it is. Okay, so I added it there. Okay, so now I add to the playlist intermediate. So this is where it gets kind of tricky. Right now it's telling me that because the song is not in iCloud yet, oh, I remember, it's really strange. Okay, it's saying that because it's not, or because this song is not in the iCloud yet, I know it sounds weird, it looks like it is, it will remove the entire playlist from my iCloud. And I don't want that because obviously I lose everything. So what I have to do is I do have to come up to here and I hit File, Library, and then for some reason I have to update it, and you'll see down here, it's going to update the library. It takes a minute. It's because it's searching my entire thing. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this. The nice thing about this is I can also share the files. I can also put a copy on my Google Drive. So if the kids want the actual file for at home, I'll put the link to it on my Google Drive on Canvas, and then they can download the song and play it. Because this is just an audio file now. There's no real restrictions to this. Okay, well, while that's doing that, let's go back. Okay, so now all I have to do is I'm just going to bump this back up to 100. We'll do the same thing, export. So we're going to do, again, rename it. Jimmy's Shuffle. This is at 100. 100. And again, it's not default. It's put it on my desktop. I just do that so I can find it quickly and easily. Okay, and then one more time. Oops, nope. Go this way. 100. Yeah, my horrible typing. 110. Save it to the desktop. Render render that down. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to drag them over. Okay. I want to add these to the music app. So I'm going to play each one, and I just have to get it started because you'll see. Okay, there's that one. And then there it is. You can see the pop-up. Okay, now I have noticed sometimes this will get stuck. Sometimes it will just run forever. So let's try this. Shouldn't be taking this long. Okay, just because I wanted to get caught up with the library. Oop. Make sure I'm on the right. There we go. Update like. Okay, let's just try this again. So this might take a minute. I'll come back when this is all done and you can see. Okay, this is gone now. Let's see if this changed. Okay, so I didn't get a message, so let's just check. Yep, there it is. Okay. Again, it's if you guys know, adding anything to the cloud, it's just finicky. At one point I would add something and then I'd go to school and the list was gone and I didn't know what some of these messages meant. Okay, so they're all there. Okay. And generally what I'll do is I'll open up my phone or iPad and I'll do the download button so they are there so I can access them offline on my device as well. And I just have a couple. So I've got the beginning playlist. So this is all the songs my beginners are using and things like that. It's just I haven't done Jimmy Shuffle since I got the new software back or reloaded Downbox. But yeah, that's how that works. And again, it can do 1,000 things, but on its very basics, I love it. It sounds awesome. It sounds professional. And again, my kids love it. I still remember the first time I introduced this 15 years ago or more. The first time I introduced this and got it, the kids were just blown away. They just have so much fun with it. And again, a lot of kids will take them. I try and do every song we do in class. I know a lot of books have their own soundtracks. Mine doesn't. But the advantage of having this over the book is I can change how I want it to sound. I can change the speed, and that's the biggest one. Most of these books have a set speed, and I just found that that can be frustrating for a lot of kids. And so having at least 3 speeds, a little bit slower than normal, middle, and then maybe a little bit more advanced for those kids that want to show off. So that's probably the biggest advantage of making this. And again, I've done this enough. Supposedly it's supposed to be pretty quick. And again, I thought, well, I'll do this with a 12-bar blues because that's probably the easiest one. I've done ones that are much more complicated, much more chords. But on its basic surface, it's not that bad. Again, there is a lot of things that we'll do that you can do, and I could manipulate a lot of this stuff. But at its core, punch in the chords, find a style, save it, and you're done. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.